very high percentage, in the high 90s, of federal indictments end up in pleas, in decreasing number of trials and jury trials. In fact, one federal judge here in Boston actually said to me, I happen to know him, and he was noting the fact that you hardly see a jury trial these days in the system. Well, of course, the reason, which I don't think he fully understood, is that the risk of going to trial, even for innocent people, has gotten to be too high. It's the trial penalty.
A trial penalty is what really drives people, many people who probably don't really think they're guilty or who would otherwise want to fight, drives them to make plea bargains and to admit guilt. The way our system is set up, if they choose to fight and go to trial, there is a massive trial penalty. That means they can do a deal and get probation, maybe 3 years, and it doesn't matter really if you're one of the really bad guys or not. Michael Copper was accused of being up to his neck with Andy Fastow and the schemes to take money from the company. He ended up with, I think, a little over 3 years. He was the first in the door to do a plea bargain, and he got rewarded for that, and he did a deal. But if you fight, it doesn't really matter if you're accused of taking money from the company or not, or how serious the charges are. If you're convicted and the government can show the company lost several $100 million, in big public companies, that's not hard to do, then you're facing a sentence of, under the guidelines, if the judge chooses to follow them, of 20 to 30 years. So do you want to take that chance is the issue. If the government says, there are really two issues. One, when the government says, I'm going to indict you, do you believe it or not? And there were a few executives who faced them down and some who didn't get indicted, but that takes a strong stomach to do that. And then if you really believe they're going to indict you, do I fight it and take my chances 20 to 30 years, or do a deal? And most people in that circumstance, small children, all kinds of different circumstances personally, it's a very tough decision, and most people would take, I want certainty in my life, I want probation, I want to know that the worst I can do is 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is.
It is almost universal in the federal criminal justice system that if you go to trial and you're convicted, your sentence will be many times the length of a plea bargain sentence. Now, I would say that that's extortion.